2025 was the year that AI was supposed to change everything. CEOs and researchers told us that AI wouldn't just replace software engineers, but entire teams across organizations. There would be one sole employee managing the AI agents because everybody else had been made redundant. It's now 2026. Let's evaluate.
Probably in 2025, we at Meta, as well as the other companies that are basically working on this, are going to have an AI that can effectively be a sort of mid-level engineer that you have at your company that can write code.
He said this would be expensive at first, but eventually a lot of the code in our apps would be built by AI engineers instead of people engineers. Sam Altman, January 2025, in his blog post titled Reflections, a look back at 2024. We are now confident we know how to build AGI as we have traditionally understood it. We believe that in 2025, we may see the first AI agents join the workforce and materially change the output of companies. Then in April, a group of researchers, including a former OpenAI employee who left the company to warn people about AI risks, published AI 2027. It was a detailed month-by-month prediction of how AI would take over. By mid-2025, agents would be doing the real work. They would be our personal assistants and do the boring things for us, like ordering a burrito from DoorDash. Coding agents would take instructions from Slack and make substantial code changes on their own. By early 2027, coding would be fully automated. By late 2027, an intelligence explosion and the emergence of a superhuman, superintelligent, super threat to humans. One of their two endings had AI eliminating all humans by 2030.
Dario, you've said that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and spike unemployment to 10 to 20%. How soon might that happen?
I really worry, particularly at the entry level, that the AI models are very much at the center of what an entry-level human worker would do.
These weren't fringe voices. These were the CEOs of the companies building the technology and researchers who left those companies because they thought things were moving too fast. So did any of this happen? Let's look at the numbers. In 2025, there were 1.17 million reported layoffs. That's the highest it's been since the pandemic in 2020. But according to Challenger, Gray & Christmas, a firm that tracks layoffs, only about 55,000 of those layoffs were directly attributed to AI. That's less than 5% of the reported 1.17 million layoffs. In 2024, Klarna, the company that became the poster child for AI replacement, bragged that their AI was doing the work of 700 customer service agents and was allowing them to reduce their workforce by 40%. According to Sebastian, the CEO, he wanted Klarna to become OpenAI's favorite guinea pig.
We haven't hired people for 2 years. We've shrank the company from 7,400 to 3,000 people, which is fantastic.
But by early 2025, he admitted that quality had suffered, customer satisfaction had dropped, and that they had started hiring humans again. He claimed, as cost unfortunately seems to have been a too predominant evaluation factor when organizing this, what you end up having is lower quality. Such insight, who could have predicted that quality would suffer? And then there's Salesforce. They cut 4,000 customer support jobs. The CEO said AI was doing 50% of the work.
So you've said you won't hire any more coders at Salesforce, and you've said today's CEOs will be the last to manage all human workforces.
Well, I think I just had a meeting, coming from a meeting with my head of engineering, and we're looking at productivity levels of 30 to 50% this year in key functions like engineering, coding, support,
You're saying
service.
AI is doing 30 to 50% of the work?
AI is doing 30 to 50% of the work at Salesforce now.
But it was later revealed that the company had redeployed hundreds of employees to other areas of the organization. They moved people around. That's not AI replacing them. It's becoming so common for companies to claim AI job replacement that they've now coined the term AI washing. Essentially, these companies are saying AI is responsible for everything: innovation, growth, job loss. It's just a way for them to market themselves as forward-thinking to investors and shareholders. A lot of these same companies overhired during the pandemic. When everything went remote and tech stocks were soaring, they added headcount like crazy. Amazon nearly doubled its workforce between 2019 and 2022. Then the interest rates went up, growth slowed down, and suddenly all those people were expensive. You can't go to investors and say, we messed up our hiring forecast and now we need to cut costs. That makes you look incompetent. But what you can say is we're fully embracing AI to increase efficiency and to disrupt the market. That makes you look visionary. It's the same layoffs, but one has an innovative spin. Meanwhile, an MIT study published in mid-2025 found 95% of organizations that launched AI initiatives have seen little to no measurable impact. And then Deloitte dropped their survey results in October. They had surveyed nearly 2,000 executives, with more than half saying that they were already using Agentic AI. Sounds impressive, right? Except only 10% of the executives reported seeing any significant return on that investment. It reads, despite these hurdles, executives remain convinced of AI's long-term potential. One executive said, if we do not do it, someone else will, and we will be behind. It's a feedback loop of FOMO. These executives are hyping AI to each other. They're pouring in even more money, but they're seeing little to no returns. But then they hype it even harder to justify their spending. It's like their entire strategy is a rigged flowchart. Is AI working? Yes. Invest more. If no, more AI, but invest even more this time. The question doesn't matter when the answer is always more AI. But if AI isn't replacing everyone, then why are so many people struggling to land a job? It's the promise of AI. It gave companies permission to do 3 things. First is hiring freezes. They believe that they can reduce their hiring because the employees they have now are more efficient with AI. Shopify's CEO sent an internal memo telling teams they had to demonstrate why they cannot get what they want done using AI before requesting their team hire new people. Next is attrition. When people leave, these companies aren't replacing them. But that's not AI. That's just the natural cycle of having a job.
Well, I think what we've done internally hasn't been reported as widely. Is we stopped hiring about a year ago, so we were 4,500. Now we're 3,500. We have a natural attrition as every tech company. So people stay about 5 years, so 20% leave every year. And by not hiring, we're simply shrinking, right?
Then there's the offshoring and the H-1B visas. Forrester Research predicts that half of all AI-attributed layoffs will be quietly rehired, but offshore or at significantly lower salaries. Companies lay off workers, blame AI, and then hire cheaper labor overseas and hope no one notices. But we can see their job postings. Every company that laid off in 2025 is still hiring both in the US and abroad. The New York Fed surveyed businesses in August 2025. Only 1% of service firms actually laid off workers because of AI. But 12% said they hired fewer workers because of AI, and a quarter of firms planning to adopt AI said they expected to reduce hiring in the future. AI isn't pushing people out, it's preventing people from getting in. This becomes very clear when we look at new graduates. Entry-level positions are being destroyed. The New York Fed found that recent college graduates ages 22 to 27 are experiencing unemployment rates of 5.8% as of August 2025. But the underemployment rate for recent graduates is 41.8%. So while they are employed, they're working in a job that doesn't typically require a college degree. They're taking any job just to pay the bills. Entry-level positions are being displaced by AI. Juniors are the foundation of the workforce. They allow everyone else to be promoted. Mid-level employees are now stuck too. If no one's being hired below you, no one's moving up. The career ladder isn't a ladder anymore. The Burning Glass Institute warned we're approaching a tipping point. If companies keep eliminating entry-level opportunities, the consequences go beyond individual careers. A generation locked out of advancement, loss of institutional knowledge, reduced innovation because fewer people gain hands-on experience. We're watching an entire generation wake up to a lie. We were told to go to college, get a good job, buy a house. That was supposed to be the American dream. Now it's out of reach for so many, it barely qualifies as a dream anymore. And you can see the psychological toll and the effects it's having on society. Doom spending, buying things now because saving feels pointless. Remember the research titled AI 2027, the one that predicts by the year 2027 we will have this intelligence explosion. The same one that also has this scenario that sounds like Ex Machina and The Matrix combined. In November 2025, just 7 months after they published it, the authors started walking it back. Daniel, one of the main authors, said, "Things seem to be going somewhat slower than the AI 2027 scenario. Our timelines were longer than 2027 when we published, and now they are a bit longer still." The researchers are now saying they always knew the timeline was further out than 2027. Okay. Eli, another author, confirmed their median forecast has moved back to roughly 2028. Someone on Twitter captured the absurdity. "Our timelines were longer than 2027 when we published AI 2027. Bro, what? They're acting like they were forced to choose the name AI 2027, as if they didn't build this vivid scenario around the year 2027. They're the ones that created this urgency that superintelligence was going to be released upon the world. And now they're adding disclaimers after they and others have used this AI scenario to grift. Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, Dario Amodei, these AI 2027 authors, every interview, podcast, and media segment is more money for them and their companies. It's another opportunity for them to grow their personal brand, to attract new investors, and to justify their very high valuations. Sam Altman went on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. For someone who claims he's not in this for fame or fortune, he sure spends a lot of time on camera telling us how powerful his technology is about to become. When the CEO of an AI company says AI will replace half of all jobs, that's not a warning, that's a sales pitch. It always starts the same. The threat is AI will replace jobs. The solution is also all the same. Use AI to stay relevant in the job market. They create fear and then they conveniently sell us on their solution, AI, to solve the problem.
I think for ordinary citizens, I think it's very important, learn to use AI, learn to understand where the technology is going. If you're not blindsided, you have a much better chance of adapting. There's some, better world, at least in the short term, at least for now, we should take it bit by bit.
Or what advice would you give on how to adapt and succeed in an AI world?
This is so dumb, but the obvious thing is just use the tools. One thing that OpenAI does that I think is really cool, we put out the most powerful model that we know of that exists in the world today, O1. And anybody can use it if you pay us $20 a month. And anybody can use it if you pay us $20 a month. It's out there, the leading edge. And so go use it.
But with that said, no one truly knows how this is going to play out, not the CEOs, the researchers, or myself. But there are a few things that are certain. These corporations are spending billions to employ some of the smartest people in the world to research and build AI. Companies are making decisions today based on what they think AI will do tomorrow. They've proven that if or when AI is good enough to actually replace workers, they will. In 2025, they told us AI would replace workers. Instead, it replaced accountability. It's the perfect excuse for hiring freezes, layoffs, and shipping jobs overseas.
What if AI gets so smart that the President of the United States cannot do better than following ChatGPT 7's recommendation, but can't really understand it either? What if I cannot make any better decision about how to run OpenAI and I just say, you know what, I fully hand it over. ChatGPT 7, you are in charge. Good luck.